The last time you were here with us, we had picked up anchor on our friend Ian's boat, Isla, and had made the trip around to some incredible rock pinnacles.
Oh, back, here we go.
Where we swam with sea lions. It was really one of those, is this real life moments? But the time eventually came to leave the bay and head south to La Paz, where we'd be dropping Ella off in a few days' time. The sail has started off a little bouncy, but stay tuned for what turns out to be one of our favourite downwind sails yet. Subscribe to feel the salt spray on your face, and let's bloody do it.
He's so stiff. Look at his arms. They're straight.
Pete doesn't love his life jacket and we're really rolling out here. So we're just getting used to it, aren't we? But he's dealing with it.
He looks pissed off, Becca.
He's fine.
He looks like a grumpy old man. Hablas Ingles, senor?
See.
He's an elderly, retired Mexican gentleman in his golden years in his retirement home.
Now the wind has picked up. We are still rolling a little bit, but we're just having a glorious sail. It started off just us slamming around all over the place. Really unpleasant actually when the sea state is like this, but there isn't any wind to fill your sails. After all, sailing boats are designed to be sailed, so they don't love motoring through waves. But anyway, we are now actually sailing and it feels just really nice. It's actually my last sail of Mexico. I would say the season, but it's not my last sail of the season by any means. We've got a long summer ahead when we're in Canada, but it is my last sail probably in Mexico. We've got a couple of weeks when we get into La Paz to prep the boat, and me and Zach are doing that together. We're going to really provision and we're going to do some boat jobs together before Zach and two crew actually set off on the 3,200 mile trip north. And yeah, so this is bittersweet, really bittersweet. It's my last sail with Ella and I'm feeling all the feels really, but I'm just glad that the wind has filled in and actually given me a really lovely last sail in Mexico. I was a bit worried for a second there, it was a bit touch and go, but now it's just gorgeous. And yeah, we're just cruising along, Isla's next to us, and yeah, I'm really gonna miss Mexico. By far one of my favourite countries we've been to yet, sailing. It's just given us so much. Rainforests, it's given us surf, it's given us free diving, spearfishing, the Sea of Cortez, the desert. We've had friends and family visit, and yeah, it would be almost a year by the time I leave Mexico that we've been in Mexico. And I'd recommend everyone to come here on their boats. It's truly a beautiful and gorgeous place, full of lovely locals and great food, and yeah, it's been really special.
Hi, I'm taking a moment to talk about something really important: mental health. I know therapy is often misunderstood. It's not just for people in crisis. It's a powerful tool for personal growth that anyone can benefit from. What makes therapy so valuable is having a trained professional who can help us see situations from new perspectives. They provide insights and new techniques that improve our emotional well-being and help us to develop healthier habits. That's why we're so excited that BetterHelp is the paid partnership for today's video. They're on a mission to make therapy easier and more convenient for everyone. BetterHelp is a platform that connects you with credentialed therapists who are qualified to help with whatever you're facing. They offer flexible communication options, messaging, video calls or phone sessions, so therapy can fit into your life. What's great about BetterHelp is how easy it is to get started. Just fill out a questionnaire and they'll match you with a therapist as soon as possible. If the first match doesn't feel right, you can easily switch to find someone you connect with. If you think you'd benefit from therapy, head to betterhelp.com/TeuluTribe during sign up to get 10% off your first month of therapy. Back to the video.
We are screeching along at the moment at about 6.5 average. Got 16 knots apparent at the moment. I probably should be putting a reef in at some point, but it is just being too beautiful right now. We're getting into a little bit of a shallow patch, so I've got to concentrate, but wow, it is beautiful champagne sailing. The sea state's really calmed down and we're going dead downwind, so perfect.
We've been sailing really nicely for the last couple of hours. Really nice actually, hitting 7s at points. But now we're getting to the base of the island and we're still sailing nicely, but it's all going to be dependent on how high up we can get because there's some rocks and reef and we have to follow a pretty strict channel. So we're going to hopefully thread the needle. Ian's about to douse his spinnaker because he's had to come up too high, but we'll see. Fingers crossed. And yeah, it's just the most gorgeous day out here. Very happy right now. Are you enjoying your sail?
Very much so.
Little update, wind is at 13.3 at 150 degrees, we're going 5 knots, very nice. We're passing a sailing boat motoring head into it, that sucks. Then the Baja ferry's coming out at 18 knots and we're just weaving around some rocks and getting into the channel and it's all wonderful.
Nice looking boat this time, looks lovely.
It's a really nice looking boat.
Very pretty. Nice pilot house.
Motoring into 20 knots of wind isn't too fun, but I guess they've got places to be.
And it's going to get worse as well. I imagine they're just pulling in to that anchorage just there.
I think so.
Because that would suck going any further than that.
There's something about sailing that gets under your skin, calling you back to the water time and time again. Perhaps it's the symphony of small sounds, halyards tapping against the mast, water lapping at the hull. But ask any sailor about perfect moments, and inevitably they'll tell you about downwind sailing on a warm evening. As the sun slowly softens in the sky, the main eases out like a wing, the boat settles into a gentle rhythm, steady and true. No more beating against the elements, just harmony with them. This is when sailing reveals its deepest magic, when you can finally look up from the telltales and drink in the world around you. It's on evenings like these that you understand why sailors speak of their passion with such reverence, why they describe their relationship with the water not as a hobby, but as a love affair. And this sail, it does feel different, I won't lie. It feels like everything is about to change, and I guess it somewhat is. But Canada is cooling, and I don't think we have ever been so excited for the months ahead, for the sails and the adventure and, just everything. We are so excited. We are inspired and ready. Well, almost. But anyway, I could go on. But we have arrived in La Paz, and have wasted no time. As Ella flies out tomorrow, and we really want to see Todos Santos on the other coast, so we hire a car and get driving.
It looks like Isla's off to French Polynesia.
One of the craziest things that happens in this anchorage is the daily battle between the wind and current. It's not uncommon to have 20 knots on your beam as you are turned into the current. It definitely keeps anchoring interesting.
Rolling waves on our beam. Look at, there's some of those boats in there.
Yeah, they're really close in there, some of them. There's some people having a short morning today. Good morning, everyone. So we pulled into La Paz about 4 days ago now. Ella's got her flight home and we've been kind of just getting on top of work over the last few days and getting ourselves situated and figuring out what exactly we've got to do in order to prepare the boat for when I leave with two crew. I'll introduce you to in probably 3 or 4 episodes time when they get on board at the beginning of next month. But we've got a lot of different projects to get on with here. The boat's pretty ready, but there's just like kind of odd things that we need to go through. We need to check all the rigging. We need to reseal a few little bits here and there that I'll show you in a minute. We need to finish installing the diesel heater. And just, yeah, a load of little bits like that we need to do. There's nothing major that we need to do, which is really nice. I think we're going to be kind of situated in this anchorage for the remainder of the month now, just kind of getting ready. I don't want to be doing tons of moving around prior to this big crossing. I want to be well rested. I want the boat to be perfectly ready for everything that is going to encounter over that kind of month of sailing. But yeah, to start off the job, I've got to reseal a hatch in our head because this little one here sprung a leak last time we had a lot of rain, which was quite a while ago. So we've just been letting it dry out because some of the wood in here was a little bit rotten and a little bit wet. So I'm going to basically pull this off and see what we're dealing with around here. I'll probably end up scraping out any bad wood in here, filling it with some thickened epoxy, and then I'm just gonna figure out what is exactly up with this. I'm fairly sure it's not this seal around this bit. I'm fairly sure it is coming in underneath here. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna look at now and just see what we're dealing with. Now this is all down, I can see all the bolts that I need to take off. So next step is to get all of these little bolts out. I just gotta do some cutting. This is all getting kind of clean now, and I have taken out all of the rot. It's actually not that bad, and it's not even proper rot. It was just kind of softer wood than the rest of it. You can see I've scored the rest of the bows around here just to see how soft it is. And this in here is the only real area which needed kind of removing. So what I'm going to do now is thin epoxy all around here to give it a really good seal. And then this bit here, I'm going to put some thickened epoxy with some glass beads that we've got in there, and then round that all off and so it's nice. Then tomorrow we'll give it a proper clean and put the hatch back on as well, so happy days. People might be wondering why we've got our resin and harder in these plastic bottles. It's because we had a big 5 gallon jug of Total Boat left, and it was about half full, and we didn't want to carry the whole thing around with us, so we just decanted it into these and made sure they were nice and dry. So we've got, I think, 2 more of these as well, but we'll finish up most of these on this go.
Why do you have your glasses on?
Eye protection.
Professional. What are you mixing in, Zach?
Some milled glass to help thicken it up a little bit.
And add some strength.
Yeah, and add a good bit of strength as well. Basically tiny bits of fiberglass.
You're all sparkly, Zach.
Oh yeah? Thanks. Should we do it?
Do it.
Thick bead, yeah? Well, it feels much thinner, this stuff.
Oh, it looks so much thinner. I'm gonna have to be ready with some tissue below.
Okay. That'd be good for now.
Yep.
Okay, and then...
Let's walk around and this way around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the hatchery sealed and checked off the list, I moved on to something that had been bugging me for a while.
Alright, for a couple of months our steaming light hasn't worked. Not good, I know. But we have been trying to figure out why. I've been up the mast, I've looked at the bulb's fine, wiring's fine up there, wiring's fine at the control panel. Don't understand why it's not working. However, then a light bulb quite literally went off in my mind because I remembered there's a junction box in here joining some of the mast wires to, low down. If you remember in a video ages and ages ago, I think it was in Qashqai when we installed our anchor light, our new one, we went through all the trouble of finding out which wire is which because they used a cord wire which has about 5 different coloured wires in it, and it was pretty interestingly wired. So we've had to navigate that, and now we're back at square one with figuring out why our steaming light's not working. They all share the same negative on the mast, so the tri-light, the steaming light, and a few other things share the same negative, but I've got to figure out what positive isn't working, because the negative clearly is because our anchor light works. So let's figure it out. Steaming light. Oh, steaming light is there. I mean, it seems like that should work, but why isn't it? Okay, so what I need to connect it to is the negative and the... So this is on ohms to show a continuous circuit. What was on that? Why is it not on that anymore? Okay. That's not completing a circuit, is it?
No.
Oh look, already I can see, I think my issue is arced, which essentially means it hasn't got a good connection in here. So I can fiddle around with that and see what I can do. But yeah, that's arced, which is a bad sign. That means current has been jumping, which you don't really want because arcs can lead to fires. So yeah, I'm going to clip that and hopefully that will help us out. Pretty arced. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, but that wire shouldn't be that colour. So I've just cut the ends off both of those wires and I've put them back into the junction box. And we're just going to give that a go, start simple, and hopefully that fixes our issue. Alright, I'm back at this today. Steaming light's the death of me. But I only checked the positive wire yesterday and cut off the arced section. Today I'm looking at the negative because it's still not working. The negative is arced too, really arced, more so than the positive. Apparently if a wire goes black it's copper sulfide, and if it goes green it's copper oxide. And airborne chemicals including CO2, sulfur dioxide, hydrogen sulfide and even oxygen mixed with the copper to form the tarnish, and then also if it heats it can go black, and salt air can make it go green. It's not green, it's black, which means I think it might have arced or it wasn't a good enough connection. Some current has jumped and created heat, and then heat has turned the wire black. So I'm going to cut off all the black and hopefully it will work. All the wiring. And then we've got some labelled redundant, and that one's redundant too. I'll cover that as well. Yeah. Okay, so I'm up the mast now at the spreaders, and as you can see from my unclipping this housing last time, annoyingly, a bit of the plastic was very brittle. The catch snapped off, so I've had to cable tie it on there. But I'm going to unclip the cable ties, open it up and see what we're looking at inside, and hopefully the bulb will just be blown at this point, because that would explain a lot. So let's open it up and see what we're working with. Got the casing off. We're a little bit wobbly. Boat just went past. Just getting the multimeter out to check this bulb. Should have brought a bigger bag up, really. So here's the bulb. It's looking a little bit cloudy, which could indicate moisture in it, so hopefully that's it. I've got my multimeter here, and I'm going to just test it and see if it's actually working. So I put a new bulb in. I've tried to push these down as much as I can. Zach, do you want to go turn it on and just test it? Yeah. Thank you. It works! Woohoo!
It was the bulb.
It's working! Woo! She's only gone and done it. Woohoo! How cool is that?
That's easy then.
So, what it was before I changed the bulb, but the wiring was crappy down there, which I think, as I was maybe doing something, or maybe just before, it had already shorted down there. So changing that, now coming up and doing the bulb, and we've got a great circuit. Woo! Job well done.
Nice.
It's done. Okay, I can put the casing back on. There's it done. I've put 2 cable ties, which aren't that aesthetic, but work great. And that is good to go. So I just want to say that the time and effort we spent on the Dodger to get it mirroring the pilot house, you can really see from this angle, and honestly, apart from the shade difference in the tint from purple on the front windows to green on the Dodger, I'm just so happy with that. Now let's go down.
Old, new. Well, that's a wrap for this week. It's funny because when we cruise, we are weirdly excited to fix things. And when we fix things, we are eager to get sailing again. I guess that combination is what has made us enjoy living aboard so much, because it's a lot of those things, you know. Thank you all for stopping by this week. See you next Monday.